I'm sorry. Okay. What? What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Mythos, and this is Wolfbrother Hobbies, and welcome to tonight's show. Tonight, I have no idea what's going on in the GW news. I have mostly been away from it. As you guys know, I haven't done a show in like 3 weeks because work has been just kind of crazy, and I haven't even been at home for a lot of work of this. So, um, yeah, it's just been crazy. I'm here at home now. I just want to chill and paint a little bit and chat with my friends about nerdy stuff. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I've got, you can see, a little corner down there. We've got some Gray Hunters on the desktop that we'll be working on tonight. Still getting used to painting on camera, but I've got the newer camera setup seems to be working okay. We'll see how it goes. Gamesburger, Razzie, good to see you guys. He lives. Yes, finally a day away from work. It has been a crazy, and they already called me up yesterday and was like, "How soon can you get back here?" So, um, I'm like, I have to sort some things out at home first. Uh, the biggest thing is that my wallet went missing on my last work trip, and so I have to get a new work card. Had to get a driver's license. Had to went to the DPS to carry my driver's license today. All this stuff I have to do to be able to be travel ready. So, and I told you guys I did these two commissions where I sold off two Imperial Guard tanks, saving money for a Chaos Defiler, and I haven't been able to spend it for like 4 weeks now because defilers just haven't been in stock anywhere. I kid you not, I've called up like 20 game stores and just could not find a defiler anywhere. And of course, the wallet went missing with the money in. And I told myself as I was swapping out to the smaller travel wallet, I was like, I should probably put this cash away so that way it doesn't get lost, so nothing happens to it. And wouldn't you know, that's why I'm especially kicking myself because I had that conversation with myself, and I should have listened. Now get your bank card sorted. You get your bank card sorted without too much incident. Yes, I went by the bank today. The pay card came in the mail today, so those are the two important ones. And then we'll sort the credit cards out. So, but losing your wallet is a hassle for sure. I don't recommend it to anyone. Thank you for welcoming me home. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. And so yeah, like I said, no real news today except we'll talk about this while I'm painting a little bit. I do want to talk about the news for Fallout because you guys know I've been on a real Fallout kick lately, and I played through four and a few of its DLCs, and I played through. I'm playing through New Vegas now and playing through a couple of its DLCs. Man, I kept getting my ass kicked by the final boss of the Lonesome Road DLC. Apparently, I looked it up, and apparently the boss for that one is like, uh, it's one of the hardest bosses in all of Fallout history. So I felt less bad about getting my butt kicked. Glad you didn't lose everything. I am so thankful as well. Uh, I constantly stress about losing my wallet. Oh yeah, for sure. Why am I looking all the way over to my right monitor for the chat when I can just pull it up on the screen here? There we go. The Filer situation reminded me of the multi-part Blade Guard Veterans kit at the start of Ninth Edition. Yeah, it's just like that. You unable to get your hands on the Blade Guard, then unable to get your hands on the Defiler now. Watch now. Now that I've lost the money from that commission that I had saved up specifically for the Defiler, watch they'll be in stock everywhere. I'll have to start saving up again. But it could have been a lot worse, right? Somebody could have tried to make fraudulent charges on all my cards and stuff like that. And, it could have been a lot worse. So, take our blessings where we can take them. I was afraid because I lost the work card I was going to get in trouble at work, but my boss was real cool about it. By the way, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor and I, for those who don't know, had a friendly bet when they announced the new jump pack, not Stern Guard. Wait, Stern Guard of the Shooty veterans, right? Vanguard veterans, the new jump pack Vanguard veterans. I said, looking at the head takers and the Blade Guard veterans and how they're basically just Blade Guard veterans with jump packs, and the way they're doing a lot of their elites now with aggressors, eradicators. I said it feels to me like the new Vanguard. Oh, and the Sanguinary Guard is a great parallel for that. I think. I said, looking at all that, I would put money down to bet that the new Vanguard veterans are going to come out in squads of three or three to six. And Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor bet me that it was going to be five, just like the good old days, and he was right. Now that we've seen Armageddon come out, we had a friendly bet for the start of 11th edition, which has passed. I am a bit behind. That we would paint, whoever lost would paint up the other one's Space Marine chapter, and so he's got the Death Heralds, which I'm going to be painting one of, and even though he won, just for funsies, I think at some point Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor is going to be painting up a Space Wolf, so that's pretty cool. And so I wanted to do something specific. I'm not going to give away the farm yet, but I did order some things from Eons of Battle, so that way I could uh, do this painting challenge because I wanted to spice it up a little bit. We'll move these guys a little bit, And I bought some candles from Eons of Battle because all of his Death Heralds, much like Templars, they are also kind of religious zealots. And so I bought candles from Eons of Battle. They are much smaller than I expected. Like I only have one or two rows of ones that I feel like will be usable on backpacks and such, and then a lot of them are going to be like much smaller. And I'm not sure what kind of purpose I would put those much smaller ones on. But yeah, so we got some candles because all of the Death Heralds have candles on their backpacks. If you're ever in a rough place financially, let me know, okay? Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate that. Man, now that I'm back in town, especially since they're already trying to call me back out there, um, we got to get together. I need to speak with the missus about possibly a next hangout situation. And I don't want to give away the farm, showing you guys in too much detail, but we do have some Eons of Battle parts for this this model I have in mind for the my Death Herald. And you know what? If our friendly neighborhood inquisitor likes it, may even just send it out to him to possibly join his Death Heralds. So I've just been I have done I guess I've been in an infantry mood after doing those two big old tanks. I really enjoyed the tanks. In fact, I may have, and I showed you guys, I think this right before I went out of town, right? I may have primed up two Hellhounds here with their hunter killer missiles. But we'll do tanks another time. Also, I have, I think I showed you guys, did I show you guys the Malfador I primed? I know they're Legends units, but I bought one before they went to Legends, and I've just always wanted one in my army. And I mean, just the idea for a tank with four las cannon shots just seems like a dream. And then I've always liked the Demolisher cannon in the Imperial Guard. And so just getting essentially a Lehman Russ Demolisher with four las cannons, it just seems sick. Plus, you get the Hunter Killer missile. I mean, that is just so much firepower. Demolisher cannons are always good because they have blast. They can be either really good anti infantry for with blast or anti tank because they're like strength 12 or something like that. They're ridiculous. And then las cannons are always good anti tank. Hunter killer missiles only one shot, but if it connects, it's always good anti tank. So yeah, so I've always wanted a Malcador. They've always been kind of expensive for what they do on the tabletop. But I don't know if I want to do the Hellhounds next or just because I've always wanted a Malcador, even though they're legends. Like I said, it's just a bit of Warhammer history I've just always wanted in my collection. So looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to working on him. Oh, that reminds me, since I have the pieces in now, when you get a chance to document it, can you send me your recipe so that way I can try and keep close to it? And I wanted to ask you because I like to do um, I like to do like airbrush highlighting and add in some extra shadows, and whatnot, just for contrast. So I was wondering if you would be okay with me, putting my own spin on the recipes, just for some for the purposes of my airbrush highlighting. If I move this tank, nope. If I move this up, he just left. I forget that the image is reversed on my screen, but there was a cookie wookie just beyond my tanks there. And then as soon as I moved the tank, he was out. All right. For damn sure. Good, good. We got to get in a hangout for sure. I'm almost halfway through my Barons War starter box. Wow. Just seems like you got that not long ago. Got the second retinue primed and ready to go once I'm done with the first retinue. Good. Man, you are making some fast progress. Need to get my tail in gear and keep up with you. All right. There's a lot of things I could do. But you know what? I think I'm feeling some red. Let's start with some red. Oh, you'll notice all my paints are in a big old Ziploc bag because I like to take stuff to go to work with me when I go out of town. Although I didn't get much done out of town this go around because I was working some crazy hours, doing some overnight shifts and then staying over in the mornings to help, meet with the clients and stuff like that. It was kind of a mess. But customer service is what I aim to provide. A little silicone palette I picked up from the old Paint Minis Live store. And does it say who it's by? No. I think it's Turbo Dork who makes that. But it is really satisfying when you get enough layers built up on there and then you just use the silicone to peel away the paint. Really satisfying. How have you been liking the Switch on your trips? I've been enjoying it a lot. I just haven't had as much opportunity to play as I would like, just because these last couple of trips have been kind of an emergency. Whoop! Don't slap the camera, Mythos. Have been kind of an emergency situation at work. Okay. Pro tip here. When you're thinning your paints, don't get busy reading the chat and then dip your paintbrush with pigments on it the back into the medium. All right. We're just gonna start with something easy. Just laying some red down on the casing of the bolters. You know what? I'm not even going to trip too much because the other colors are on here are silver and black, both of which are easily covered up. Can cover up the red, so you can see here it's a little bit streaky. May have over thinned my paint just a touch, but that's okay because we can just take care of that with a second coat. There we go, a classic red Space Marine bolter. That's going to help our Marines start taking some shape. Oh man, I'm surprised that so many of these still have blue tacked arms, but I can see why. That chest would probably be kind of hard to hit if I couldn't move this arm out of the way or get to that belt. So, like I said, I haven't really been in the GW news. I've honestly tried. But I guess while I was dealing with the work stress, my brain just would not like keep up with like rule stuff that was coming out. Like I would put on the videos and then have to keep bumping it back a few seconds because my brain just wasn't capturing it. I feel like I need to be in an unstressed state to uh, really absorb the information. So I'm mostly unprepared for the typical news kind of show I like to do in the evenings. But for just a chat, I can chat and hang with my peeps. But I did catch some Bethesda news um, on the YouTubes. I didn't. Once again, I tried to like watch more in-depth videos to really capture the drama, but I didn't really catch a ton of it. But I did see that Fallout, uh, the rights to Fallout, was being taken away from Bethesda and given back to Obsidian. And controversially, Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas, which controversially many consider the best in the Fallout franchise. I thought that was pretty interesting, but the reasoning was sound. They haven't done anything new for Fallout in 8 years, other than create more battle passes for 76. 76 was kind of a nightmare on launch, and while a lot of people consider it better and playable now, it did give Fallout a ton of bad publicity at the beginning. You better get a bonus or something at the end of this emergency stuff. Man, I would like to say so, but unfortunately, when you are a corporate, representative like myself, it's not about what I do individually, it's a team sport. And just between some of the stuff my employees have done and the response from the local branch, I am afraid. Like, don't get me wrong, I think in general we've been able to respond, put on a really good response, and because my company's large enough, I don't think the many other companies would have been able to give the kind of response we have. However, employees sometimes do dumb things, and dumb things can reflect poorly on a company. So, now, not all of my customer service, right? You got to give the customer what they want. Not all of their requests have been entirely they have been a bit demanding, right? But yeah. Anyways, we'll see. It is a contract renewal year, so I am worried. I'd hate to put in all this hard work for the emergency and get a pink slip at the end of the year instead of a bonus. Technically, Obsidian's team includes members of the Black Isle, so they could be more true uh, to the original vibe of Fallout. Not that the new vibes have been bad. Yeah, I have really enjoyed 4. Like going back and playing 4, I feel like I didn't give the game enough of a chance the first time. I have loved playing 4. Um, so I'm down for some of the new vibes. I never played 76. I did pick it up recently during the Steam Summer Sale. Um, so I may try it in the future, even though that is very thinned down. I think my brush is just a little too loaded. This is what's up, guys. Like, this was the break I needed. Just to come home, just lay down some paint, have my John Carpenter, gothic vibes going in the background, and just hanging out with you guys. That's gonna be cool. That's feeling cool. This feels right. Some classic red bolters down. Actually, there's really no point in putting that arm back on because we're gonna come back and do another coat. Never got 76. 3 was okay. Love New Vegas, and I thought 4 was excellent as well. You know, I really loved 3 a lot. I am having trouble going back and playing it. I really hope 3 gets a remake. But I loved 3 at the time. I think I think part of that may be a um, it felt like an epic, something world defining. Um, because you're restoring clean water to the wasteland. Like that is world changing. For the post apocalypse. Also, though, I'm pretty sure part of me is super loves the story for, and this is where I get a little sappy. Pretty sure a large part of why I'm such a sucker for Fallout 3 is, um, you know, I never had a good relationship with my dad. Had an abusive dad, and the relationship the dad in Fallout 3 had with the main character. That I was a sucker for that. And then like not only the father son bond, but then the son following in the father's footsteps to save the world and bring water back to the wasteland. Man, I was a sucker for that for sure. So yeah, part of the reason why I love it is because I'm a little broken on the inside. Um, I did play the first 2 in the way back. I've never played the first ones. The older top down style never interested me. And man, I tried, and of course, it's definitely hard when you're used to the newer fangled games. Man, I tried going back and playing the older Baldur's Gates because I fell in love with the character Jaheira in Fallout in Baldur's Gate 3. And so it being a similar style, the over the top kind of RPG, to the old Fallout games, I tried playing it and I was just like, nope, I do not have the capacity for this. I know that's a little stuck up of me. I apologize. I know most bolters are black nowadays, but I don't know. Something about this red bolter just really pops. So the reason why I'm coming back now and doing the second half of my Grey Hunter, you notice Grey Hunters come in a squad of 10. I am only painting up 5 now. That's because I already painted 5 of them. And honestly, in my games, I've just been using them as intercessors. I just I just feel like for the kind of rifle wielding troop choice that Grey Hunters are, I feel like the intercessor role just holds more weight. I played Fallout 2 back in the day, if you remember, even if I was too young to be good at it. Rob hooked me up with a burned copy at the time. I remember that. Those were, in essence, a different type of game. Different type to the type of games that they are now, or Fallout and Baldur's Gate were different. Because they visual, like, to me, as someone who never actually sat down and played them, the same over the top style looked very much the same. But, you know, admittedly, I never played them. Like, art style, everything looked very similar. All right, we've got down a couple of layers of red. And now it's time. Oh, visually different than a first person shooter, for sure. I gotta say, I love what they ended up doing. Again, 3 is my first Fallout game. I really love what makes it different than any other um, shooter is the VAT system. It just really gives it, I don't know, it really takes a shooter game and gives it way more RPG kind of vibes. I like a reddish tint for my Space Wolf, so I'm using Greedy Gold. I don't know why I bother showing that when it's going to flip around backwards and be unreadable. What do you think, Darklight? Think you could go back with your modern? Of course, you've always been good at being able to take video games as timepieces. So I bet you probably could go back and enjoy the older Fallouts for what they are now that you have, you know, uh, a more experienced gamer profile than you did when you first tried to play them many, many moons ago. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Obsidian does with Fallout. Don't get me wrong, with how much I just ended up loving my most recent playthrough of 4, I'm a little disappointed it won't be the same studio making Fallout 5, but like I said, I have been enjoying a lot New Vegas. So I'm sure I have a better brain for it now. Ah, those early days with Descent, Warcraft, and Starcraft. Good times. Even at 12, Razzie, you were always better at video games than me. So I spent a lot of time watching you play. Honestly, there are some games nowadays that I'm like, did I ever finish that? Or did I just watch Razzie finish that? Okay, we're going to pull off your chain arm. I'm sorry. Chain arm. Chain sword arm. You know what I mean. I just colored outside the lines slightly. That just made it worse. That's okay. We'll come back with a little blue paint and neaten that up at another time. Honestly, I usually prefer a stiffer brush for working with metallics than this super soft and very nice broken toed brush, but I myself usually use a stiffer brush for metallics. The brush is fine. It's me that's the problem. I'm the problem, it's me. Not always. Remember when we were super little, I'd ask you to beat levels for me? How the turns table, my brother. How the turns table. And now that I'm a full grown man, I still do that. Especially because, like, I often, I'm just not good at puzzles. I will say that. But also, I don't have the patience to try and, beat my head against puzzles. So often when I get to a puzzle part, and not just like a Resident Evil, go here, do this thing, but I mean like an actual puzzle. Um, like if we stick to Resident Evil, like if there's like you have seven levers and you need to pull them all in a specific order to get the water pressure just right. I'd be like, babe, I don't have the patience for this. Will you figure this out for me, babe? Babe, do it. I don't know how, babe. She puts up with me. I appreciate it. Huh? Oh, true, true. She does love puzzles. Bamboozled by the poozles. Oh, snap. Hobby stream. That makes way more sense. Glad to see you back and happy freaking Friday. Whoa! Also, how's the sound levels, guys? I really felt like it was just too hot with this Texas summer for me to pull out the big old headset and sweat my ears off. So I'm using this lighter. headset I usually use for like conference calls at work. But let me know what the sound is like. The sound is okay. Also, like everything sounds louder in these headphones now, so the background music sounds a little louder. I almost blew my eardrums out with the intro. So just let me know where the sound levels are. Do I need to adjust anything? Is the background sound too loud? Or sound is fine. Okay. Good, good, good. Yep. I changed headsets at the last second without doing any testing. True Wolf Brother fashion. Well, even though I'm not Frosted Fist anymore, like we've been having technical issues from day one. So even back to the Frosted Fist days, true Frosted Fish fashion. Clean up some of this overspill where I didn't color inside the lines correctly. Good. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I guess I'm saving 30 points for no reason. Oh, firstborn Vanguard bets are not on the online store anymore. Ah, yeah. Yep. In the new, when their codex comes out, they'll all be switched over to the Primaris ones. That's okay. I'm sure you'll find somewhere else to apply those points. Background is balanced on the video end. Excellent, excellent. Still need those action monkeys, and if Primaris man vets don't get shields, I'm just running JPI at that point. That's fair. Oh, okay. Making them JPI. That's what you mentioned. Why you mentioned saving 30 points. I got you. I feel you now. I feel you. My painting cam here is my phone, so I can't show you guys. But even though I haven't been able to get in a game of 11th edition, and I haven't been able to really take in the news for 11th edition yet, something I have been doing is I have just been making a ton. I mean, a mess load. I think I've got at least one 11th edition list now for each of my armies, except knights. I haven't done knights yet. I made two White Scars lists. One. Ah, I lost an arm. Okay, we found it. One, because I typically run my White Scars as Ravenwing, and so I made one Dark Angels list, and then I made another just because they did release Saboden Khan, and they are going to be releasing, functional Outriders now that actually get to have sergeant weapons, which gives your Outriders just a little more teeth. So I made one Space Marine list as well, like actual White Scar list. Although I gotta say, for running them as I think everybody's feeling that Ravenwing is going to get some upgrades to their Black Knights this edition, and so I am really looking forward to breaking out the White Scars when that happens. Get some Primaris Black Knights. Of course, then I'll be sad because at that point, I'll have almost a dozen firstborn bikes invalidated, but it'll be a bittersweet, I guess. Man, look at that! I missed the black crotch armor here, and I missed the black straps in the back here. Man, look at me half jobbing this guy. Half, HALF, not hand. If you need to get in an 11th edition game in, I can drop 1,000 points. You need to learn, so we can figure that out. Hey, yeah, man, that'd be cool to get together. Yeah, I can definitely slap together a 1,000-point list for sure. But yeah, I made two White Scar lists. I made an Imperial Guard list. I made a Space Wolf list. I made I made a list for my Iron Warriors that I haven't even built yet. I made a list for my Orcs and for my AdMech, which I don't even know how to play because I haven't touched those rules since like 9th edition. And I still haven't built a list for my Knights yet. But yeah, all the other armies. Even the army that's not technically there yet. Oh, and my Ultramarines. Actually, did I port my Ultramarines over? No, I think I haven't ported my Ultramarines over. Ooh, man. Rumor is we're going to lose the Uriel Ventress, the next codex, and the teleport shenanigans that Uriel Ventress provides us. I'm not looking forward to that. Those of you who are into the lore of Warhammer may have seen on a YouTube short, but I've been listening to the Caiaphas Cain novels lately. Really been enjoying them. And so I went back and painted up one of my favorite commissars from the Black Library books, from the novel Honor Bound. This is Severina Rain. And then from my very favorite book series in all of 40K, I have this anniversary commissar that I started on, that was gifted to me from Brother Rob over at the Miniatures Paintbrush. And Plasma Power Sword. This is going to be my Commissar Hark from the Gaunt's Ghost series. Then at some point, if I'm doing storied commissars, of course, I did have to get Commissar Yarrick, looking super cool. And then I have been saving this one for a treat
I was going to be doing it whenever I went back to Imperial Guard, but I think right now I'm just on a train of working in commissars whenever I get the chance. So where did it go? Oh, here it is. The leader of my favorite commissar of all time, my favorite Imperial Guard, or my favorite book series of all time, The Gaunt's Ghosts. And that brings me to while I was out of town for work, my lovely, beautiful, amazing, gorgeous wife picked up Caiaphas Cade for me. I think I've taken a commissar in like one or two of my games ever. Um, but I love the models. I love the characters in the story. Also, something, this one's going to be a little too big to put on the painting cam, so I'm going to switch cams real quick. I'm almost done with the Kane novels myself. Should probably do the novellas too. Very nice. Also, something I saw on Midwinter Minis was a miniature that uh, he reviewed over on Midwinter Minis. This Mammoth Walker from Rampart uh, Modular Terrain. Super cool. It's like a Sentinel with four legs, but it comes with two sets of legs in case you want to build the bipedal or quadrupedal version. Now, I want to use the four legs for a cool kit bash with a Leviathan Dreadnought and make myself, because I don't want any demons per se in my Iron Warriors army, but I do want a lot of tech heresy. Um, Except the Defiler. The Defiler just looks cool. I want it. So instead of having a super demonic looking, all fleshy and stuff, Mauler Fiend, I want to take the quadrupedal legs of this with the body, make them centaur style with the body of Leviathan Dreadnought. I want to kit bash my own Mauler Fiend. And what's even cool is if I keep the original loadout that this eBay rescue came with, I can have a Mauler Fist. But one of the weapons you can replace the tentacles with are Melta Cutters. So if I just use the Leviathan Melt to represent that, I can have both weapon options there and still have the cool steel tentacles coming out from the backpack. I think that'll be cool. I do need to see, because the Mammoth is a big boy, so I just need to double check to make sure that this body size is going to be big enough to accommodate the big quadruped legs. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that because, like I said, I don't want demons necessarily in this army, but I do want a lot of tech heresy. All right, now back to the show. Bloop. My little dreadnought person turquoise waving. I love that little thing. That is cool. Oop. Ooh, I may have thinned this down just a little too much. I think the Caiaphas K novel I'm on right now is one called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. I don't know how far that is, but hopefully it's not too far because I don't want to run out of any Caiaphas Kane books anytime soon. I have to admit, I was a little saddened when I learned that there were no more ghost books for me to consume. All right, so that's all the Chesterquillas. Put down a little more gold, and we'll go back and do the swords. Speaking of books, I'm going to be starting Red Rising soon. Oh, what's that about? Who's it by as well? I'm not familiar with that one. At least not right off the rip. Who am I? I never say right off the rip. Oh my gosh, I feel kind of like a kind of egotistical carnivore chef guy, carnivore Ray. I don't give a rip. All I know, I hear good things, and all I know it's a sci-fi series. Fair enough. If you ever decide on you want to look into a sci-fi series, I recommend these Commissar Gaunt books. They're very good. Get you in a little 40K lore. Tell you, a little red, little gold. These Marines are starting to take on a shape. $40K lore intimidates me a little. I mean, while that's fair, bite-sized chunks, brother, bite-sized chunks. And I feel like if you get the right ones, you know, they kind of contain themselves enough to where you don't need to know the rest of 40K to know what's going on. And the books I'm recommending, they're about the Imperial Guard, who are your standard humans of the Imperium in soldier form. And I really feel like because they're the humans, you know, they have normal human emotions. Don't get me wrong, I always thought at first, like, why would you be a normal human in 40K? You could be a badass super soldier, or the super mutants of the orcs, or a space elf like the Eldar, or the cybernetic the cybernetic Admech. I was like, why would you ever be a human? But like once I started reading the lore, and like I said, the Gaunt's Ghost books became my favorite books, because like there's a very human component in there, but also because you're a human and you're stuck in some crappy situations, and but there's actually personality there. There's also like hope and inspiration and stuff like that. It's just really cool. The Tanith books are amazing. Yes, they are. Who took my dice? Finished Emperor's Finest, so I've got Last Ditch, Greater Good, Choose Your Enemies, and maybe Hidden Depths for the full length novels. Very nice. Oh no, that means I'm closing. If I'm already at Choose Your Enemies, that means I'm closing in towards the end. Boom, boom, boom. Don't get me wrong, I love Space Marines and like especially my Space Wolves and stuff like that. But part kind of like Master Chief, part of being a super soldier is not only that they are physically enhanced, but they're also kind of indoctrinated from birth, and all they like a lot of their out of all of them, Space Wolves have some of the most personality, but a lot of them are just like all about their mission, Um, boom, boom, boom. A lot of Space Marines don't really exist outside of their mission. Every moment is training. Every moment is, you know, preparing for the next great mission and how they can serve their chapter. I mean, there's a certain admirable like, you know, I don't give an F. I don't listen to any bosses in the Imperium or whatever. I just listen to my chapter. My chapter, follows the wishes of the Emperor. I mean, that's kind of cool in itself. But it's like I said, their motives are more than human. Very indoctrinated, very militant kind of mindset. While the Imperial Guard, while being humans, while being military, they are still humans. Everybody's got their own kind of mindsets. Emperor's Finest does show a small aspect of the daily eye from from a perspective of a normal human. That's true. I enjoyed the Carcharodon trilogy. But I need to read that because I do want some. Of course, part of me is afraid if I read Carcharodon, I'll want to paint space sharks. I've been thoroughly invested in the Kane novels. I should probably dig into some of the Gav Thorpe Dark Angel novels. I have Lion, Son of the Forest on my Audible to listen to whenever I get around to it, because I did listen to a synopsis of the book from Auspex Tactics, and I was like, okay, that does sound like something I might enjoy. So I'll probably go read that at some point. Since I play Dark Angels, even though they're painted as white scars, I should probably like learn something about Dark Angels at some point. It was kind of cool in one of the Ragnar um, uh, books. The in that book, Ragnar has to work with a squad of dark angels, which is pretty cool. So I did get to read some of the some of a bit about the dark angels there. Blah, blah, blah. Billy, just stick your arm back on with blue tack. There we go. I almost grabbed that, but started the Kane series instead. Yeah, I think it was. I grabbed it during one of Audible's summer sales, like get 2 books for 1 credit. And I was like, oh hey, I can get this book I'm reading and then put this away for later. I know a while back you asked me to find some of my D&D books, um, my Dragonlance books, Razzie, but I think they are in storage, and I don't think I have easy access to them at the moment. I do think I have the Gaunt's books close by, so I may bring those to you during our next hangout. Zymaman, I'm not sure. I know we tend. I know you. I believe you said you tend to work on the weekend, so it might be hard for us to line up our schedules because usually that's like the only free time I have. But definitely, let's try and get together at some point to learn some 11th edition. It's okay. I know you haven't been home much to look, anyways. That makes sense. Like this trinket here would also be good in gold. Just as a reminder, which of the Dragonlance books were you looking for again? 26 and the first, unless something comes up. All right. I know my client wants me back out in Cali as soon as I can get back out there, but when I have a clearer picture of when I'll be home, I will hit you up. There's a lot of shadows in that one. That would have been good to undercoat in brown. Oh well. Too late for I laid down the gold. Neaten up the blue around that. Man, when I was much earlier in this hobby, I used to get so mad for making misstrokes. Like, oh, I got some gold off of that on onto the blue. And man, if I had just realized how easy it is to just go back with the previous color and clean that up, it could have saved me a lot of heartache. Getting mad at myself for no reason. I was looking for the Brothers Magier stuff and the Driss stuff. Okay. You've read Chronicles, right? Chronicles is where the twins first appear. Chronicles is the stuff like the Dragons of Spring Dawn and stuff like that. It's like all the season named books. Because if you haven't, I think you have, but if you haven't, I recommend Chronicles before diving straight into the twin stuff. Nope. Okay. I will like well, I will see what we can find for you, my brother. Again, they might be in storage, so I can't guarantee you that I'll be able to find them for you, but I will do my darndest. You read those when I had too much ADHD to read. That is fair. That's fair. Dragonlance, so good. It's funny that we maybe I brought it up because it was subconsciously on my mind. But I was just doing post checks. Post checks being just inspections of where my officers are working, and I noticed that one of my officers in the car with him had a pretty massive book with him, and I asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh, I just have it here for reading on my breaks and stuff like that." I'm like, "Cool," but I was asking, what you're reading, just because I'm curious, not because I'm trying to get you in trouble or anything. He's like, "Oh, this is the uh, it's like a special edition, all four books of the Dragonlance Chronicles books, all in one hardbook back cover." And I was like, "Okay, that's really neat." And he's like, "Yeah, it's on like he got it for like uh, $40 on Amazon." I thought that was really cool. And I was like, "So you're into D&D and stuff like that?" And so we chatted about Dragonlance and D&D for a while, and then that led into talking about modern day versions of the games like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool to find that one of my officers in Cali was a fellow nerd. Ah, while this paint dries a little bit, I'm sure it's dry right now. I'm surely just kind of wasting time. But I wanted to show you guys another project I've been working on. I got some other bits from Eons of Battle because I had three Blade Guard veterans sitting around for a project I was going to do with Paint Minis Live, but then our schedules just never lined up. But if it comes back up, I can always just grab a couple more Blade Guard veterans. But I've been running. I have four Blade Guard veterans because you used to be able to buy just one extra body. I have four Blade Guard veterans in my Space Wolves in my old color scheme. One captain and one lieutenant Blade Guard style in that set. And so I was kind of just stealing three of those Blade Guard veterans to run with three of my head takers from the box to make a squad of 6 head takers. But I had here in just plain plastic 3 fully assembled, ready to be painted Blade Guard veterans, and I ended up just cutting them up and doing some conversions to make them more like the Wolfguard head takers. And so, like here, I took the shield arm off of one guy. Actually, I think this might have been a pistol arm. I'm not sure. And put like a Space Wolfy axe from the Grey Tide Studios collection. It's all monochromatic and shiny, so you can't really see, but it's just basically an axe with a rune and a wolf head on the end here. But yeah, and I think giving him the fur cloak, and then I gave him a pauldron that's got like some dwarven style armor plate and some fur on here. I think that kind of, wolfies up the look a little bit. And then this one, I gave him an axe from the Grey Hunter set. And then then I gave him also a furred cloak. And I gave him this cool shoulder pad with the some tusks, or some small tusks here. And then this one, I took his shield away, gave him an axe with like a wolf skull head and some tusks on, and kind of a beard axe kind of shape there, the way it bends forward. Again, some of that dwarven style plate and fur, and the fur cloak. And then all of them are going to get Viking heads similar to these guys here, where I've got these horned helmets. I know, of course, they're not historically accurate for Vikings, but I just love the way horned helmets look. And so I'm going to put the same kind of horned helmets on these guys and help them, while they won't look exactly like their original GW, Wolfie counterparts. I think they'll go pretty nicely. Oh, and then you see some green stuff here. I've got one of those fur pelts where it's like you got the pelt and the claw that's going to go over that. And so I clipped away some of the details there, smoothed it out with some green stuff, and then that fur pelt will drape down from right there. So yeah, some cool stuff that's coming there. Oh, nice, an omnibus. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Always nice to find someone in the same stuff as you. Absolutely. Who cares if it's not historically accurate when it's cool as hell? Exactly. Agreed, my friends. Agreed. And so while, the second half of the squad won't look exactly, uniform with the others, I think they'll still carry enough of that wolfy flavor, and they'll have similar helmets to kind of tie them all together. All right. Gonna start laying down some of that silver. All right, so if we get a chance to play, do you have a preference on which army you face? Oh, also my custodians. I made a list for my custodians. I was like, I'm missing an army, but I'm not particularly good with any of them. I mean, I guess I'm half decent with custodians, but with custodians, it's hard not to be decent. Just because they're kind of a stat check. But do you have a preference on which army you play against? Gamers with Coffee. Good evening, my brother. So good to see you. I enjoyed watching your Let's Play of the Fallout tabletop game. That game looks pretty fun, especially I love the randomness of having the Deathclaw element, be able to shake things up in the middle of your fight. I gotta say though, from an outside perspective, and you tell me if I'm wrong, this is just my thought process outside looking in. Greg cheated. No preference really? Okay, cool. And this is just my observation outside looking in. But man, I guess because you only have like what four gang members per side in Fallout. Definitely, it feels a little bit like once one side starts to lose bodies, man, it definitely is hard to make a comeback. What are your thoughts? Although also some of it was strategy. Like it did seem like with that last game when you chose to remove yourself from combat, make a run for the vault, and take some pop shots from the vault. It definitely seemed like things kind of definitely worked out for you. So I think that was a good strategic moment for sure. Okay, you can have up to 10. We were just doing smaller teams to get used to it. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I suppose it would help if I painted on camera, guys. Well, maybe the pack will do better in those larger games, Ash. Maybe that's all maybe the pack just needs its pack mates. Kind of a stat check. I literally just put a stat check in front of my friend for our War Machine Journeyman League tonight. Thanks. Greg cheated. I did not cheat. It's funny. Yeah, I really enjoy y'all's Fallout games. Oh yeah, I was telling the chat earlier, my brother, that my client already has been calling me to see how quickly I can get back out there. So I may not be home for very long. But for tonight, we paint and we relax. And if you guys like chill hobby content, just watching the camera go as someone hobbies away, check out Gamers with Coffee there in the chat because Ashley has been doing some build videos as of late. She's putting on the camera while she builds her Legion Imperialis, getting her hobby on. I was out and about with my wife earlier, so I didn't get a chance to tune in, but I saw that you were live again earlier, Ashley. Did you finish up your um, Castus Knights? I know that was the game plan, was to try and finish the Knights in the next session. This is not a D&D week, right? We just had D&D. We've had one. What about second D&D? Ashley finished her Knights today on the live stream. They look good. Nice. Yeah, the Acastus Knights are some of my favorites. If they're the ones I'm thinking of. I think they are. I think my Atropos is an Acastus Knight. As well as the Lancer. I really like the Atropos. The Atropos is like one of the stars of my Knight Army just because I love the way it looks. All right, so we got about 20 minutes left in the show. Seems like it's taking me forever to do the bolters and chain swords on these guys. Let's see if I can finish the silver for the last three guys in that time. So, how did your league game go, Brother Zai? Did you win? Did he pass the stat check? It's so gonna hurt to go against them. Yeah, you definitely need heavy firepower to take out a knight. In fact, I don't even know what a space marine equivalent would be. Think of Fellblade or a Falchion? My apologies, guys. I don't know if this headset has a mute. So, what hobby plans do you guys have this weekend? Is anybody doing anything fun this weekend? Friend forfeited. His dice were rolling abhorrently low. Average roll under 6 on 2d6. Ugh. I just jammed a lot of high armor, high health, melee bricks into the middle of the board. Ooh. She wants to get more. Knights are cool. Knights are cool. But I'm sure if you look up, you know, you might have to look up online what's a good thing to go against them, just to keep your teams kind of, your armies kind of balanced for each other. I want to say something like a Felglaive or a Falchion will be pretty good. That I'm not super well versed in Titanicus or Imperialis. while they're still missing a lot of detail, the red, silver, and gold, these are making them look more and more like Space Marines by the moment. I figure I'll give my guys a pep talk and hope for the best. You know what? Sometimes it's all you can do, brother. What am I doing for the weekend? I don't think I actually have any plans. I have this vague feeling like there's something I'm supposed to do Sunday, but I just can't recall. Mm, got a little overzealous here. I'll have to come back with the red and clean that up. Man, on one hand, I've came to find during these recent work projects that as much as, like the corporate management life has been pretty good to me and my family, allowing me to take care of my family on a single income. I kind of miss doing just security work in the field because I had to hold some posts over these past couple trips, and it felt good to just be out there doing my thing. But at the same time, I did have to spend a few shifts sitting at a security desk, and man, doing these 12, 13-hour shifts overnight at a security desk where it's super quiet and boring, and your biggest threat is just trying to stay awake. Man, I've come to discover I cannot do that as well as I could when I was younger, or at least more used to third shift. I can do the physical stuff, for those overnight shifts just fine. But the sitting at the security desk, just watching monitors and stuff like that, ugh, 'twas not my cup of tea. Oh, we mailed off a package to you on Wednesday, so any day be on the lookout. Thank you so much. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do Sunday. I'm supposed to be on the show. Thank you. Oh man, that would have been embarrassing. Me just sitting in the chat like I'm not, don't have anywhere to be. Makes me think of Anchorman. Brick, you're supposed to be on our side. That escalated quickly. Yeah, I killed the guy with a trident. Yeah, you should probably get out of town, Lilo, for a little while, Brick. Anchorman, I have my days. Hey, looks like I will finish these silvers relatively on time. We got 9 minutes to go, and I'm down to just the chain sword. Aside from like the smaller details that I'm not doing at the moment, there are parts like the sight, the front sight on the bolter is usually silver. The teeth of the chain teeth of the chain sword are usually silver, and that I didn't want to try doing on camera just because they're tiny details that I would like to hold up closer to my face. Of course, hopefully, the more I paint on camera, the more proficient I will be. I'll have fewer misstrokes like this, and I'll develop the confidence to be able to paint teeth on camera. But I'm very excited to see what's coming, guys. Thank you so much for sending me a gift. Oh, Raziel. Is my Raziel still in the chat? Raziel E. Kushranada. Man, I think I'm gonna need to pull this arm off. That is really kind of at a a weird angle, don't you think? I tried to vary up the poses some, but I think that just one just came out at like kind of an awkward angle. Am I going to break anything? No. I was looking at the arm pose and I was like, that arm pose is kind of bothering me. Then I looked up at the monitor on the, and saw it bigger on the screen. I was like, that pose is really bothering me now. I don't know if it bothered anyone else, but it was bothering me. And now we sand away to try and get back to the bare plastic. Because super glue on super glue just doesn't glue as well. Okay. Maybe position the arm back here. Does that look any more natural? Maybe this is just a weird arm positioning. I think the fact that it's kind of out away from his body. I guess that's a little more natural there. Definitely. If I lean it forward some. No, because then he's just got his arms down by his sides both ways. Yeah, let's go with pretty straight up and down. Surgery on models. You the man. Oh, I just get this wild hair where sometimes positioning bothers me. And when it works out, it feels pretty good. Although sometimes you snap a piece, you're like, I want this to look better. And then you're like, you can't fix it the way it's supposed to be fixed. And that feels terrible. Okay. Welcome home, kiddo.
Thank you, Dad.
I think that position looks way better than the position it was moments ago. I felt like that position he was at before was going to like him going to go for a limp-wristed chop with the sword. Much better, much better. Okay. And with 2 minutes to spare. Toast my late night iced coffee to the gamers with coffee. One more check to see if Razzie is there. Had something I wanted to show him that I forgot about earlier when he was in the chat. Looks gooder. Thank you. I was hoping it'd come out looking gooder. Darklight may not be here to see any at the moment, but you guys may have heard me mention that I am interested, kind of inspired by our friend of the show, Mini Warmut, to try my hand at some solo roleplay with the 60 parsecs from home. And so I have, I kind of want to um, do some of my friends and family as if we were all a mercenary crew for 60 parsecs together. And so for myself, uh, I've always liked this miniature, so I'm going to have this miniature be myself, a Captain Mythos, so to speak, with the cool blue trench coat. This is Infinity miniature. And then, much taller than a Mythos, Jesus, I didn't realize Razzie would come out this much taller. I found this cool figure that just fits the when we Razzie and I have been playing tabletop games together our entire lives, right? And the very mystical, mysterious spellcaster type. I don't know if there are any kind of like force or space wizardry or whatever in 60 parsecs. This would totally fit him if it was in there. Um, but even then, even if there is no space wizardry, another character type he likes to go for is like the dual pistols kind of. He's got a character named Axel Hunter he likes to use for sci-fi. And anyways, this here with the mask and the armor and the trench coat, and the hood, that kind of matches the Darklight Dreamer vibe perfectly. And anyways, to start with, I want the first three characters to be myself, Darklight, and I want to find something for my lovely Lily. And then, depending on how many spots are left in the crew after that, I'll add a couple more friends and family. And then, yeah, see about getting together a game of us, uh, you know, being space mercenaries. So, anyways, yeah, I think I want to try my hand at the whole. Jesus Christ. Look at that. No base. Darklight is as tall as me. Ah, why must I always be the shorter brother? I don't know why I'm complaining. I'm the one who picked these figures. But yeah, I just thought aesthetically, like this figure fit Darklight super well. Now I've got to find, and this was one I just happened to come across on Temu or AliExpress. I think Temu, maybe AliExpress, one of the two. Anyways, so that one I was like, okay, that's a perfect Razzie. Now I can really start to put together my my mercenary team. Try it. You will like it, I'm sure. Oh yeah, I haven't actually. I don't think I've ever done any solo role play on my channel before, so this will be kind of fun and new. We'll see. But yeah, so got to find a figure for Lily. Got to figure out who's going to be next in the crew, and yeah, looking forward to that. Maybe I'll just make a whole bunch of my friends because I have a pretty large extended family. Um, and there's no way I could fit them all into one game. But maybe I can just paint up one for each of them and just rotate out who's going on what mission. Maybe I'll do that. So, and that brings us to just after 10. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed being able to just sit down and paint with you guys tonight. I know it's not the normal show. I know I didn't cover any news or any topics really. I just sat down, painted, and ran my mouth for a while. But I had a great time because you guys were with me. So I appreciate you. And also, I really appreciate you because, like, between the reds, the silvers, and the gold, like, my Grey Hunters are looking way closer to finish than they were originally. So, like, this is close enough to actually motivate me to really finish them up. So, yeah, you guys are helping me get my army done. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you all for joining me tonight. If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop me some comments down below. Feel free to be part of tonight's ridiculous conversations. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to some of my fam in the chat, like Gamers with Coffee right here, The Adventures of Mr. Fish, Gamesburger, Darklight Dreamer, whoever's there, give them a sub. Be part of the pack, part of the hobby family here at Wolfbrother Hobbies. Until next time, guys.